This is an incoming transmission from the Jersey Shore.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, powered by McLean Advisory Group. Today you'll hear some of the most important financial information and wealth-building techniques available anywhere.
Let's get this party started, huh?
Do you have a question for Scott and the team?
Am I on the air?
609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646.
We'll get that information to them by radio.
Now, Financial Insanity with Scott McLean.
Well, it may be hard to believe, but the new year is getting closer and closer. It is almost 2025. Thank you so much for joining us for Financial Insanity. Today, we're going to take a look at your finances. It's time to evaluate where am I at and where am I going? Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group, is here to help us out. I am Alex Dingman, the host of this fine show. And Scott, always an exciting time of year as you get to the end of the year and all the planning, but it's also a good time to review the past year as well as looking forward.
It is. It's Groundhog Day, baby. It keeps coming every year.
Right.
And boy, doesn't it come fast. I guess the older I am, the faster it comes. I don't know maybe I got to spend some more money, but it is a Groundhog Day. It's all over again. But I'm glad you must have popped your head in on my last appointment because we were actually talking about how do I plan for this. So I appreciate you stealing my listening to my appointment.
Yes, of course.
It's a great topic.
No, absolutely, Scott. And so What are some things to think about? You know, this time of year, as we're getting, late into the year, we have the holidays coming up, but when it comes to your money, when it comes to your plan, what are some things it's a good idea to take stock of?
Alex, the last person was just in here when you popped your head in and said, hurry up, Scott, we got to do the show. One thing was, number one, the family had two advisors, and those two advisors really never looked at the tax return. So number one, tax planning. Should you sell some bad stocks for some new stocks? How can you do some tax advantage moves in your portfolio? Now that we know the new president that is in the helm, I think that's important, tax planning, because they needed to pull money out. Their daughter's getting married. They needed to pull a significant amount of money out. I said, well, why don't we take some money this year? Let's take some money next year. Let's take money this year for some IRA accounts and a little bit from your non-IRA accounts because it's taxes long-term capital gains. And number two, let's take money out next year so you're not taxed higher, again, from the both non-qualified and qualified. Then we'll talk about budgeting. And I asked him, how much are you spending and what's going on? Do you need that much money? Where does the money go? Let's drill down. He had a variable annuity that was paying him a check. But the question I asked on the variable annuity was, if you die and the variable annuity runs out of money, will you be able to annuitize it for your spouse? And the bad thing was the answer is no. He didn't know that. And so the question is, she will lose this big lump sum. To them, it's big. To some of you listening, it's probably not. He's getting a check of $900 a month net after tax. But if he dies and he annuitizes it, if he lives and of course the money runs out in the annuity, he can annuitize it. But it's not for the joint beneficiary. So there's a lot of twists. So again, budgeting and again, goal setting. Maybe goals have changed. Maybe you're taking the trip. Maybe you're going on vacation. Maybe your lights are starting to twinkle. Maybe your lights are going dim. Maybe your spouse is not feeling that well. Should you be looking at maybe what is your goal for this next year and the couple of years now? Do you want to give money away? Should you do some spending? Should you give money to charity? Or maybe we need to do some challenges or changes in your legal documents because the family 2 days ago, Alex, I don't know if you heard me, but they have a special needs son and grandson, and the child popped out. It's 2 years old. They never brought it up before. And with their other advisors, I asked them, by the way, how's the kids and grandkids? They're a brand new client to us.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we have a child that's special needs. So that's important to understand. Maybe they need to change their will,
right,
and update it to a special needs trust. So there's a lot of stuff out there, Alex, as you think about the coming years, because procrastination is so easy. Because if you want that peace of mind and taking that in your mind, whether it's your legal, your taxes, your financial, it needs to be looked at in retrospect of what you're doing. So again, by the way, Alex, because of the new presidency, we're doing a workshop coming up.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Those who are interested, and I don't know if you might have mentioned it before, December 9th, we're going to have 2 different workshops right at the, we're having like a little lunch and learn, little hors d'oeuvres and a couple cocktails. Because of the new president, we're going to say, okay, what is our game plan at McLean Advisory? How are we helping our financial clients? So this is for our financial clients. If they choose to bring a guest, if we have room, they're able to. But this is so important again. So your topic today is spot on, buddy.
Well,
great job.
Well, and Scott, it's the kind of thing I'm sure you would invite folks in if they want to look this time of year at their portfolio, if they want to check it out, see how diversified they are, check out the investments. But you and your team be happy to take a look. Maybe it's a second opinion, whatever it may be, but a great time of year for you to do that.
It is a great time, especially now we're able to plan when the new president gets kicked in the helm. And we can now use the new tax laws. We know what he's going to do. Hopefully they'll get passed. But now that we have the Senate and the House and they have majority rule, it seems like it's going to be we got wind at our back, buddy. Our sales are up and we need to make sure we are headed the right direction. My question to you out there is, are you headed in the right direction? Reducing taxes, increasing your portfolio, making sure you're, as Alex said, your investments are in the right place. The financial advisors use fancy word as asset allocation. I just like to make it simple. Is your investments in the right place to make the maximum return? And then finally, your legal documents. Maybe you need to dust them off and maybe they need updating. So that's what we do here as the 3 Blind Mice. We have our glasses on, not off. And I can tell you what a great topic, because if you're out there, this is a very important number you need to have. So you might want to think about writing this down. It's 609-488-4646. Again, that's 609-488-4666. You give us our studios a call. Maybe this is a place for you or maybe it's not. My job is to answer your question, not to sell you, but help you. 609-488-4646. You know, Alex, I'm going on my anniversary coming up, 43 years right around the corner. So I'm excited about doing this business another 43.
Hell yeah. Well, and Scott, you know, you brought up the thing about the special needs trust and how that, you know, could be something that family you're helping with could, you know, take advantage of and use. And Scott, to me, I point that out because that is just a great example of just how nuanced all of this can be when it comes to finances, when it comes to retirement planning. There are just so many different avenues that you could go down. And so, Scott, that 43 years of experience doing this thing, I mean, hey, man, I'm proud of you for dating yourself. Some people, they wouldn't want to say that. But
I don't care.
You know, Scott,
I feel like I'm 20. Well, my body feels like it's 90.
And see, and that's the great, I don't know about the 90 part, but that's the great combination for you, Scott, is that you have the 40 years, but you have that youthful energy. You still love to learn. You still, you know, you're not somebody who's stuck in their ways. Well, I've been doing this for 3 decades this way. No, you look at the environment, you see the opportunities, you see the potential pitfalls, and you adjust accordingly. And so I just think that's an important note to make, that this is a comprehensive approach, no, Scott, that you take. And so, you know, as we're looking here, end of the year, we're looking at planning, you're going to look at it all. You're going to look at healthcare. You're going to look at taxes.
Very important.
You know, all that kind of stuff. So maybe speak to that and any other considerations that folks, you know, should be making here as we get late in the year.
Well, you bring up healthcare because some people maybe should look into an irrevocable trust to put their property or assets or house. So in the event their lights go dim and they have to go to a nursing home or they have to have in-home help. Well, if you put your house into an irrevocable trust, this is not for everybody. But how do you protect the assets? And a lot of people, that's one of the biggest assets, is their house is paid off. And that's the first place that they're going to put a lien against. So maybe that's kind of planning. Long-term care. I've read a lot of long-term care contracts. Most of them are pretty good in the past 20 years ago up to now. And of course, the premiums are going up because us old people they're getting older and they're being utilized now. So you're seeing rate increases. Is there other alternatives, which was the question today? And I said, yeah, there's like 4 other alternatives than the old contracts, but maybe you should keep what you have. So again, when you're looking at protecting your assets, long-term care, health care coverages, putting your house or your assets into an irrevocable job. Another question here. Think about this, Alex.
Yeah.
The person today said, Scotty, what do you think? I mentioned something about if my children is the power of attorney. Well, I said, go to the bank and make sure they have a copy of your power of attorney. Or if your bank has their own power of attorney, use the bank power of attorney. And I think this is so important because it makes it a smooth transition if your lights go dim and maybe your spouse is in charge and maybe her or his lights are dim, maybe the children or someone else is getting involved. But this is where people get stuck and they don't know what to do. They throw their hands up. They call their financial advisor. 9 times out of 10, he's going to say or she's going to say, call the lawyer. Well, if they had the legal documents, they know exactly what to do if they've done this. And I think this is such a missing part. And those of you listening right now, what would happen if you needed to have a game plan? Who are they going to call? Who are the kids going to call? Call Ghostbusters at 609-488-4646. We'll try to help you. I promise you that. 609-488-4646, and we'll make you feel right at home. I promise you that for sure. But the most important thing is, what is your game plan, as Alex said, as you plan for next year?
Well, absolutely, Scott. And real quickly here, a note I wanted to just make, because this time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a lot of people, and it's great, they're thinking about giving. Charitable donations. Absolutely. And, not to get super in the details, but that's another area, Scott, where, you can help folks do this in a smart way that can set you up to be able to provide for others even, better in the future.
What a great way to do giving. We do give a lot. We have a lot of charities we support. And there's a great way if you have your required minimum distribution for those of you that are taking them now, or for those turning age 70. What a great way to give and get more back. I wrote a white paper. If you'd like to have a copy of that white paper, it's 609-488-4646. I wrote it for a church at Bayside Chapel I go to. And I wrote it because you could actually give money to charity if you're tithing or whatever, and to your foundation, and you could take it out of your IRAs and not pay tax, give it to them, and it satisfies required minimum distribution. In addition to that, it's such a way for those of you who want to give maybe money to your kids. There's a rule out there called 709. It's a tax form where you could actually give your kids more than the $17,000. Maybe you have a lot of money. Maybe you'd like to bless the children with some money. Maybe you want to see them enjoy the money, and you're worried about all I can give them is what the law says is $10,000. Well, first of all, that's many years ago. Now it's like $17,000, but it actually more than that based on the estate planning rules. You can give them, heck, for those of you that have a lot of money, you can give it, and you're married, you can give them $23 million and not have an inheritance or state tax. A beautiful way to give. This is why people give us a call at studios, or when they come in, we talk about their planning at 609-488-4646. Why? Because it's another area that the financial guys are looking, gals out there, they say, what can I get from you, not what can I give? And I think it's better to give than receive. How can I give you more advice than you could ever have? So when you walk out of the office, you say, holy mackerel, it was so great to meet with the firm, McLean Advisory Group.
Nope, I love that. 609-488-4646. Just add a .com for the website. When we come back, we're going to be looking at retirement risks that you're going to want to avoid. This is Financial Insanity.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money, but do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
Get all this stuff and you try to put it away like these hoarders on TV. It has an emotional attachment.
So, Scott, you're saying I don't have to keep every single drawing that my son has done? You're saying I could throw some of that away?
The answer is yes. You can take a picture, then throw it out.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Financial Insanity. I'm Alex Dingman along with Scott McLean. And today, that's right, baby. Ready for us. Today, we're talking about 7 easy to avoid retirement risks. We're going to go through them. Easy to avoid. I mean, that's
easy, Alex.
That's
Alex,
what it's. I know nothing's easy, Scott. I know it's all relative, my friend. So maybe easy isn't the right word, but maybe it's possible to avoid these retirement risks. We at least can maybe do that. You know, people look forward to retirement, of course, all the relaxing and enjoying activities that we've not had the time to do. Maybe reading more, traveling, exercising, but as we transition into retirement, there's a lot of things that, well, we just didn't realize that we're going to be there when we crossed over that threshold as far as our way of living. Yeah. I mean, there are risks to that. I mean, that is one of the biggest fears, obviously, is running out of money. So let's go through these 7 easy to avoid risks. And if something resonates with you, if you have questions, give Scott a call, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. If you have questions, Scott is here to answer them. So, risk number 1, living too long. Explain that one, Scott.
You know, we all want to live long. You think about Methuselah. You think about in the Old Testament. There's only one guy actually kind of walked out of this picture in the Old Testament, and he didn't die. He just went on. I think about so many people. We all want to live a long life as long as it's healthy. And then, of course, challenges. When I was looking in the year 2000, I think 50,000 people, I think you gave me some stats also, that 50,000 people who lived to age 100 or older by 2050 is projected. So I'm kind of thinking about this, and that number is expected, by the way, to reach 1 million. So we're going to live a lot longer. I was reading a book called Life Force. Tony Robbins did. Wonderful book for those of you who really like to read and learn about the new stuff that's coming out, the scientific, the medical journey, what's happening in the supplements. Life Force is a great book. You might want to get your hands on as I was reading it. And we're going to live a lot longer. And the new stuff that's coming out is just amazing. These young kids and doctors that are really just coming around. But we're living too long. And I think that's, as I mentioned before, we're talking about the 7 easy to avoid risks. Well, it's not easy to keep healthy. You got to work out. You got to eat right. We all love sweets, which are very bad for you, but I love sweets. But the challenge is could you live too long? Maybe you think you're going to pass away. I've got a very close friend. We'll call him Raphael. And Raphael is a beautiful friend of mine for many, many years. And when we were doing his planning, he kept saying during the planning stage, well, Scott, my mom and dad died at 65 and 67. I'm 63. I probably will make it to 70. I've got a heart condition. I said, Ralph, my friend, what if you make it longer? Today, Ralph is 73. And he ran out of money. He doesn't have it left. He was burning so much cash in his portfolio. And I said, Ralph, please, you have to spend this. Scotty, I'm not going to make it. Well, he made it. And he is still healthy. He didn't have his parents' ailments. So number 1 risk, if I were to say the 7 easy to avoid retirement risks, this isn't easy to avoid, but you work out hard, obviously. He's doing well. Don't run out of money.
Yep.
Are you planning to live a good long life? I hope you are. And I think that's the hope and dream of that. So number 1 risk, living too long.
Risk number 2, as we're going through 7 easy to avoid retirement risk in retirement. The second one, explain this one, Scott, spending principal.
Boy, what a great risk number 2 as you think about living too long. Imagine living too long and you're spending the principal as my boy Ralph did. And you can spend principal without knowing it. In other words, the stock market goes up and your portfolio went up 20%. You say, well, heck, I'll just take out that 20%. And the next year, the market drops 15%, but you pull out the same amount of money, not understanding that reverse dollar cost averaging, as I mentioned in one of my segments in our shows, that you could actually burn down principal much faster. And the reverse dollar cost averaging, if those of you listening right now, if you're not clear on how reverse dollar cost averaging or dollar cost averaging works, please do yourself a favor. Please, if you have a pen and paper, write this down. Get ready. This is very important. If you're not sure how reverse dollar cost averaging is in light of dollar cost averaging, write this down, 609-488-4646. Again, 609-488-4646. I'd love to talk to you off the air because number 2 is very easy to avoid, meaning you're not paying attention. And when you're not paying attention to something, here you are living a long life. You got 30 years left, almost like a 30-year mortgage. And in reverse, you start paying the mortgage payments and you're not paying back the principal at all. Pretty soon, you start paying the principal and you're down to zero. My question to you guys out there, are you watching how the money is lasting? Should you reallocate? We spoke in our previous show. We talk about allocating your money in this volatile stock market. Perhaps you need to allocate your money to get some kind of vehicle that will give you income for life for yourself or yourself and your spouse, your significant other. So both of you have a income that will last a good long time. Because what happens is if you're married out there, have a significant other, well, one of you, if you're married, are going to lose the Social Security. So your husband dies, wife dies, your spouse dies. The highest of Social Security transfers to the other, but you lost a significant amount of money. So I think that's really important. You think about taking a pool of savings worth, let's say, $1 million. You're generating 5% per year. That's $50,000, Alex. Now, Alex, you're getting $50,000, even if you just take a little bit more of that $50,000, just a small amount of your principal of your $1 million savings, it will be depleted. It will evaporate. So when people say, well, I've got a lot of money, well, okay, how are you spending it? Are you being frugal? Or in my family, when you're Jewish and Scottish, you're really cheapish. You really got to watch, am I spending too much principal? It's easy to do, Alex, very easy. So I guess number 1 was living too long, but then you're spending too much money. That's principle number 2. Be very, very careful, Alex. People need to be aware of that.
Man, the whole Scottish and cheap thing really resonated with me. You've never met my father, but yeah. If he heard me right now, he'd be nodding his head. Yes, in agreement. 609.
No, my dad was the same way. My dad was very frugal.
Hey,
and he watched every dime. You didn't turn the lights out in the bedroom. You get yelled at, and if you don't do it the second time, you might get a little spanking. And I grew up in that. And I didn't understand it. I was ticked off that he would get mad at me, but
sure,
I do the same thing with my kids. And now I'm a grandparent. If I see my little grandson turn the light off.
Well, those lessons that the great folks who lived through the Depression and the lessons that they tried to trickle down to people, and sometimes that ended up being your parents who then were telling you to turn the light off because of the bill.
If you'd like to get a copy of my book, The Three Blind Mice, How the Financial Planning Process Leads Your Money to a Mousetrap, please give our studios a call. We'll make it available to anybody. We'd love to help you as long as we have any left, because I think this book will guide you through all of the jungles and the quagmires, the ruts in the road. As you are in your investments with your investment advisor, you'll ask wise questions. So again, I'd like to just throw it out there if you would like to give us a call at our office. Now, Alex, you were saying that the simple mistakes that people are making, number 1, living too long, number 2, spending down principal. And then I think you wanted me to talk about something that was really hitting all of us right now. What was that? Number 3, Alex?
Inflation, and maybe underestimating it could be a risk for sure.
I bought my house in Ocean Gate, New Jersey, and I paid $42,500. And that was when my mortgage payment was right around, interest rate was around 13.5, and I was happy as a pickle in a barrel. And then I saw mortgage rates jumping up to 16 and 17%. You know what? I felt pretty excited. Then I saw the mortgage rates come so I could refinance and reduce my rates. But this is inflation in the worst and the best. So how do you take care of it? And so we're all feeling it. You're feeling it out there when you go to the pump and you grab that nozzle, or if you're getting it pumped by yourself or having someone do it, and you look at the bill. And of course, I filled up my diesel the other day for $5.98 it was. And I just got 17 gallons, and I'm like, holy bananas. Not that we couldn't afford it. I don't want to overpay. Again, I said I'm very, very frugal. And so I always shop for the best price. Inflation has a way of getting away. Like the price I bought for my house in Ocean Gate, I bought it for $42.5 and sold it for $125 just 3 years later. I got lucky. You think about a baby coming out of the oven, beautiful little kid, beautiful child. God's blessed the child. No matter what condition it is, you're blessed with this beautiful infant. And later on in life, it grows. That's inflation on a child, from a little beautiful kid coming out to now it's a older child. And so the question is, things change. How do you get around it? Well, we want the kid to grow, but we don't want to keep paying more for our products. And so I hear so many stories. It's the supply chain, Alex. The supply chain is so bad. That's why we have inflation. I heard that on the radio or TV from one of the government pundits. And there's so many quote unquote excuses, but it's still coming out of your pocket. When you live a lot longer, you're going to be going to McDonald's and you're going to get a Happy Meal. And pretty soon you're going to have to split that Happy Meal with your spouse because it's so expensive. And that's inflation. Inflation could really evaporate your money. When evaporate your money, A, you live too long. B, now you got to spend more money, or you're spending down principal. And 3, inflation is I call it a hidden, the grim reaper. It just shows up, and that could be disastrous.
Scott, we have time for one more. We're going through 7 easy to avoid retirement risk in retirement. Before we take a break, let's go to risk number 4. Staying invested in the stock market too long. We know staying in the stock market for a long time is a good idea generally, but what are we talking about if we're saying staying in too long?
The stock market has market cycles, and I've go this over every one of my workshops, Alex. This is unique that as we speak about the challenges, risks we have, what people don't understand is the stock market history. The history of the stock market has cycles. And if you've been to one of my classes, you've heard me from 1899 to 1921, the price to earnings ratio was around 30 and the market dropped. Then the market took off from 1921 to 1929. This cycle of the boom market took off, the bull market. And it was just from 1921 to 1929. This was a nice short period. The market took off. Then it evaporated again and it dropped. And it dropped again from 1929 to 1954. If you're not writing this down, if you're driving right now, this is important. Not understanding the stock market cycles, which is a full stock market cycle, about 35, 36 years. So from 1929 to 1954, imagine pulling money out and the market's dropping for that 25 years. Then from you go that period of time, now we're going into a bull cycle in the market. When the market 1954, the market took a poop. Now it's going to come down. 1966, the market took off. But then it turned back again. It dropped again. So from 1966 to 1982, the market didn't come back. It went nowhere from point to point. Imagine the stock market is at 1,000, and here it is 25 years later, it's still at 1,000. How you invest your money, staying invested in the long period, if for those of you in retirement periods or heading into retirement, this is critical. You pay attention to allocating or putting your money in the right buckets of money that will absolutely not evaporate, having income that we all deserve, we all want for the rest of your life. So this cannibalization of your money. And here it is from those of you listening right now, from 1982 to 2000 was the fastest bull cycle in the United States history. 1982 to 2000. I studied this because I was ready to get out of the business, Alex. I don't know if you know this. I was ready to leave the business in 2000 to 2003 when the market dropped 50%. And I was told by the big firm I was with, hang in there, don't worry, it'll come back. Why? Because they're worried about the company profits, not about my clients. Then here it is, 2000, the bottom of 2008. Well, what happened? Well, the market dropped from 2000 to 2003, came back by 2007 and broke even, then dropped again, which is people wasn't aware of, 60%, 60 by 2009. Everybody says 2008. Well, the bottom was 2009 and then came back. Imagine from 2000 to 2013, you made no money. 13 years of a done. For those of you that are invested, not understanding market cycles, this is where you want to say, Scott, how does the market cycle affect me? How does it affect my inflation? Am I spending too much principal? Number two, and number one, am I outliving my area? So the 4 areas that Alex brought up with us today, if you're in that boat, please do yourself a favor, do your spouse, your family, your kids a favor. Pay attention, because the next 3 areas we talk about, the unexpected events that are coming down the line, please don't turn me off now. You want to pay attention, because this is critical, because the biggest mistakes in retirement could be made because you're not paying attention, or the advisor's trying to sell you, not educate you. This is important. So please stay on your game. Pay attention to market cycles, as Alex mentioned.
And if you have questions, give Scott a call, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. Going through 7 easy-to-avoid risks in retirement. We've done 4. We got 3 left. That is coming up. This is Financial Insanity.
Who likes uncertainty? Wall Street certainly does not. With near record inflation and partisan politics, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. What will America's future look like? What will your future look like? Will your taxes go up? Will your savings go down? For more than 40 years here in the Jersey Shore area, Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group have seen uncertainty come and go. No matter what the future holds, Scott can help you create a plan designed to preserve your finances in uncertain times. And it's not a matter of if those uncertain times will show up, but when. Call 609-488-4646 now to meet with Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group. If uncertainty is causing you to feel insecure, Scott McLean might be able to help. Call 609-488-4646 and schedule your visit today. Again, that's 609-488-4646.
Investment advisory services are offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Can we really live the go-go years, or am I going to scrimp and save and stay at home and watch TV, watch Bob Barker? I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
We made it back. This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Welcome back to Financial Insanity. I'm Alex Dingman along with Scott McLean. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, and if you have any questions, give us a holler, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. Today, going through 7 easy-to-avoid risks in retirement. And we started this off by risk number 1, living too long. Risk 2, spending principal. 3 was underestimating inflation. And we wrapped up the last segment talking about staying invested in the stock market too long due to the different cycles that we know happen with the market.
Yeah.
So now, moving on, 3 left here. And our first one, another underestimation we can make, and in this one is in regard to healthcare costs. And I know that one's tough, Scott, because people always think that they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof until something happens. And so talk a little bit here about that risk, underestimating healthcare costs.
I went to the Florida and went water skiing, and I haven't skied in almost 35 years. I jumped in the water, and I couldn't get up. I used to ski at Cypress Gardens. I skied all over the place, water skied. I jumped, I hang glide. I did a lot of fancy water skiing, and I was mad at myself I couldn't get up. I thought I was 18. In my brain, I was 18 years old.
Right.
My body was a lot older. Even though I do work out and thought I was in shape, boy, Healthcare could be expensive. My buddy was saying he did the same thing, and he tried to jumpstart one ski, slalom ski, and he pulled his groin, and he was in the hospital. Healthcare costs, they come up suddenly. One day you feel great, the next day you can't even walk down the stairs. One day you feel like $1 million, the next day you feel like $1 bill or less. And I think the cost of the healthcare is extra. It's just amazing how it's gone up. Now the government's trying to fix that. And obviously it's going to continue going up. Hopefully there'll be no medications, new stuff for us. But this means for those of you who are retiring, you got to pick what medication plan, what Medicare plan you're going to pick out, what option is. We want to guide people with this area. And those people in the 60s, currently the cost of family, the health care is right around $200,000. You figure the cost of someone being taken care of is home health care about $200,000. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say you're going to stay home and have your kids take care of you. That's not going to happen most of the time. Maybe you want to pull money out and you're going to get a full-time health care worker that I have with one of our clients, and his wife has MS. He is taking care of his lovely wife, but he's got a full-time person. He's spending around $80,000 a year, and he's at his own house. So good quality health care. And you now you start throwing into an inflation. That 200,000 could easily be 800,000, or perhaps that 100,000 could be 400,000. It doesn't matter. It costs a lot of money. Pay attention to those areas. Please get in shape, work out. You know what's right to do. We all have 24 hours a day, I guess. And I'm talking to myself, by the way, Alex. Working that extra 1 hour a day, just working out, could be vital, and eating the right food. But healthcare costs are going out of control.
That is for sure. All right, risk number 6. Got 2 left, going through 7 easy to avoid retirement risks. This one here, Scott, changes in policies or government programs. Well, that never happens. What are you talking about?
It never happens. You think about they change policies all the time. They're giving away free money the last few years. Now we have rapid inflation because we got too much money chasing too few goods. Now we have another issue, inflationary, which is now hitting our health care, which we just spoke about. And now the government wants to reduce Social Security. Think about Social Security, Alex. It's already slated on the table to be reduced if they don't fix this deal.
Right.
And you think, wait, whoa. If I'm getting $1,000 a month and there's a 23% reduction, which is already slated, well, that means if I'm getting $1,000 a month, that means I'm getting $230 less. Ugh. Now, I don't know about you, but that means you have to drive one car, not 2 cars.
Right.
Or maybe buy a Happy Meal and split the Happy Meal with you and your lovely significant others or your kids. It's out of control. So when the government, so that's why we have to really pay attention and we have to vote. I'm not going to go on any Republican or Democrat or independent. You got to go out and vote, but you got to know the issues. And the issues for those of us that are getting older, like myself, Alex, you're a baby. You have nothing to know what I'm talking about, but you got a mom and dad. And the most important thing is, by the way, Alex, is your grandpa and grandma alive?
I do have a grandma who is nearly 100, my friend. Very, very close. Knock on the door of 100. So I do have a grandma on my mom's side, still kicking and loving to see her great grandchildren at this point.
Oh, wow. That is, I got bad genes. My genes are all ripped. My mom and dad died at 74, 75. My grandpa and grandmama, they died at 84, 85. And my mom's grandma died at 86. And my grandfather, my mom's side, he died in an accident driving a truck. So we'll just leave that one out. But I got bad juices. You got good ones. That's exciting. But for those of you who have maybe genes that aren't that exciting, maybe you go to Wrangler or Levi's, but that's not a gene I'm talking about. But the genes of course, government programs, how the government program could change and shift the way you're taking income, the way you pull money out of your 401ks or your IRAs, 403bs. This is a critical change. When the government says you inherit money from your parents, called an inherited IRA, and now you have to pull it out over 10 years. How do you structure, for those of you about to receive money, listen to me, and about to inherit money because maybe mom and dad or maybe a child passed away, Sibling passed away. I deal with this all the time. This is all I do. And this is why you want to watch with the government, how you're going to be taxed. We talked about taxes earlier, but how you're going to be taxed on that money and how do you structure this in line of Social Security along with the government rules. This number 6, changes in policies or government programs could be really disastrous if you're not paying attention to this on a yearly basis, Alex. So please, if you want questions, by the way, I got answers. You got questions, I got answers. 609-488-4646. I'd love to help you with it. Give me a call off the air, 609-488-4646. I'd love to talk to you. Alex, what was number 7? I know there's 7 of them.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to bring it out.
Let's put a bow on this, my friend. Touchdown and an extra point. We got 7. Easy to avoid retirement risk. We laugh a little bit at the word easy, but we're going to go ahead and call this easy. But here's the last risk. Risk number 7, unexpected events. And you've hinted to this, Scott, but you can't plan for everything, my friend.
Can't, Alex. The unexpected events is one of the areas you live too long. We want to live long as it's healthy. You know, guys out there, the unexpected events, and I deal this all the time. The lovely spouse passed away, but they didn't know when they came in for a second opinion that they weren't going to get their spouse's pension. Unexpected risk, unexpected event. And now they're worried about living on cat food versus real food. Now, we also speak about this. I'm not making light of this because could wreak tremendous havoc on people's lives when you're living on a nice income and all of a sudden it's changed overnight. One day you're healthy. A client came in here and now his beautiful spouse has multiple sclerosis. She was beautiful. She came in here before she had it. Today, she can't even sit up in a chair straight up and down. The disease came out of nowhere. This changes lives. Can you plan for it? No, you hit your knees and you go to the God above and say, hey, Jesus, I need help, or whoever you pray to. I need a plan. I need a game plan. For those of you, don't do it yourself. Get someone who's done it for so many people. Or maybe you have an estate issue. Will, power of attorney, living will, and you go to the hospital and your mom and dad are probably sick or something, and you go there to help them and you don't have the power of attorney for healthcare matters or the power of attorney for financial matters. This unexpected event will pay attention to all the details. So, Alex, and for those people that are younger listening, guys, make sure your parents' legal documents are up to date. Oh, by the way, make sure yours is up to date. Dust them off. Take a look. We don't know what life has. We don't know what's given. The grass withers, the flower fades. But I can tell you the word stands forever. I don't know where you guys stand out there listening to me, but in a wonderful season we're feeling good today. Okay, great time to plan. Let's plan for the good, the bad, and what's that movie?
Yeah.
Ugly, right? So, and I think when you think about this, because we don't know what lies ahead, because I can tell you the loss of one income from a spouse could be disastrous, or maybe having to take care of your mom or dad and didn't think you had to, and now you have to leave work early. We've gone through that with our clients. I wasn't planning on retiring, Scott, at 61. I know you in our notes, it says you want to retire at 65, 66. Well, my mom needs my help, and I'm going to be taking care of her.
Yep.
Game changer.
And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's the adult child that
oh my
needs
goodness,
more
that's
help.
exactly right. We have special needs kids out there that have to be taken care of. All of a sudden, your child maybe gets in a traffic accident. And now you're raising their kids, your grandkids.
Sure.
Life has a way of sometimes not unfair, but it seems unfair.
Yeah.
It's what's in the cards. Guys, we just spoke, and Alex brought up in the show 7 issues, 7 concerns that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Concerns that are really important to you as we plan, as we go into a new segment of life, procrastination, or as you're planning for your future, as those going into retirement. We spoke about it. And let me give you a quick rundown, as Alex did very well. Number 1, we talked about your monies, and we talked about several different risks. If you're concerned about your money, that's all we do. 609-488-4646. Seems simple. Seems like you'll never forget it, but it happens. Give me a call off the air, 609-488-46. I'm here for you. Guys, I'm right around the corner, right across from ShopRite. You'll see the beautiful building, the Lighthouse. We're here. We're for you. Thanks for taking time with us. We wish you the very best. I hope this is helpful for you guys, as we talk about the risks, the 7 risks in retirement.
Yes, and Scott, you did such a great job going through them. Risk 1, living too long. Risk 2, spending principal. Risk 3, underestimating inflation. 4, staying invested in the stock market too long. You had 5, underestimating healthcare costs. 6, changes in policies or government programs. 7, unexpected events. And if you have any questions for Scott, you can give him a call always at 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. Just add a .com for the website. And
Great job, Alex.
We have more Financial Insanity with Scott McLean coming up.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
Sounds like the mailman's here.
It's time to answer questions from the McLean Advisory Group mailbag.
It is time now to hear from you, our great listeners, as we reach into the Financial Insanity mailbag. Go over some common retirement questions. Do want to remind you, if you have a question, you can call us at 609-488-4646. For Scott McLean, the team at McLean Advisory Group here in Waretown, 609-488-4646. Scott, are you ready, my friend, to answer these questions?
What's this, Stump Scott Day?
Yeah, right? No, never. Scott has
I
all
hope I
the
get
answers.
it. Well, let's go at it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. So the first one, this is coming in here from, it looks like Emily in West Creek. Emily, so she says, I overheard my friend recently who has retired talking about something called full retirement age. Can you explain what that is and what this has to do with Social Security?
Emily, I know everybody should know that. It's when can you take your money and be taxed differently, or maybe they take out money. So, for example, let's say, Emily, you take your money out at 62, which is the beginning start. You're going to get a very bad haircut. In other words, they're going to give you not as much as money as your full retirement age. Let's say my full retirement age, I am now fixing to turn 66. My full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. That means if I take it there, I can earn as much money as I want, and I can, of course, not be taxed differently. In other words, they're going to withhold some money from me versus taking it at 62. In addition to that, I won't get a haircut. I'll get my full benefits. And if I choose, Emily, if I choose to wait till 70, from age 66 and 10 months to 70, I get a increasing benefit, and I get an 8%, guaranteed 8% return on my Social Security. In other words, when I say guaranteed, my benefits, if I wait, delayed Social Security, it continues to go higher than it normally would as long as I keep working. So I'll probably keep working. But Emily, I'm not sure what your retirement age is or when it would be, but full retirement is normally the best time. But let me make it clear to you, it's not the best time. Why do I say that? Because some of you may need to take it earlier. because you're taking care of mom and dad and you need to retire and need income. Some of you may take it earlier because maybe you're not feeling that well and you just can't stand that job, just over broke job. You want to go leave. So everybody is different. So just don't listen to the crowd. Listen to someone who's been doing it for the years of his life or my life or other people, that they understand everybody is not a cookie cutter machine. You are different, Emily. You need to find out when it's best for you. You see, the number one benefit could be hundreds of thousands of dollars more than the number two best benefit. This is why analyzing when to take Social Security is very important. Again, if you've taken it at 62, it doesn't mean you're a loser. Not at all. You have reasons why. And your friend says, well, you should have taken it at age 66. Well, yo, Spanky, calm down. Maybe in your case, it's better versus the Spanky's case. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
This is important to understand what's best for you, Emily. And this is where you look at all of your benefits, not just a quick answer, which is a quick answer for retirement age. You can pull that up online. But how do you take money and when do you take it? This is important.
And the takeaway, don't listen to Spanky. Listen to Scott. All right, Scott McLean.
I like Alfalfa. I like Alfalfa, Spanky, and all the cool in the gang. I love it.
There we go. Well, let's keep the S going here. As we have a final question here in our mailbag. This happens to come from Simon in Long Beach Island. All right. So
I remember that call coming in from Simon and Alyssa, and what a great area Long Beach Island is. The summertime is over. People don't have to drive 3 hours just to get to back on the land.
Yeah. So Simon and Alyssa, they write in, they say, so Simon says, my wife and I considering contributing to a qualified charitable distribution, but I want to know if I can just write a check or is there a specific process? Great question.
Wow. So for those of you who don't know about the giving, the qualified charitable distribution is a wonderful way to take from an IRA account and put it into a charity. Give it to the church, the synagogue, the dog park, Popcorn Park Zoo, whatever it is. And how it happens, Simon, is when you and your wife get together and say, we'd like to contribute, let's say, to the Popcorn Park Zoo, a great place. You would actually go to your investment advisor, and he or she should have brought those ideas up to you, because we do this all the time, which is so important. How do you do it? And they would, let's say it's with a company called Charles Schwab. And so you would tell your advisor, your broker, or if you're doing it yourself, the company, the custodian, meaning the Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, would write the check directly to the charity. Don't you take the money out. Did you hear me? Don't take the money out yourself and cut a check. Same thing as I tell the people. I wrote a paper for the Bayside Chapel, Give and Get More Back. That paper was designed for, of course, anybody. I don't put my name on anything just to think I'm pilfering from the churches. I don't care. I want people to know when you're giving money to them, you can actually take it from the IRA and give it to the church, and you call up your brokerage office, say, I want to fill out a form, I want to give it to the church directly, and that form qualifies you for the RMD, which qualifies for the charitable distribution. The qualified meaning RMD, the qualified distribution. This is important. So do not take the money out and write a check. That's not good. No. It comes from the custodian to the charity.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that they asked that question, because we want everybody, as they can to donate, be charitable. That is a great thing. But there's a smart way to go about it. And it's not something where you should feel dirty. It was like, oh, well, how am I going to do this in a tax efficient way? And really what it should be about is giving the money away. What it does, Scott, is it enables you to be able to give more money away in the future. You do this smart now. It sets you up better, because obviously if you're set up better, then you would be able to better support others out there and to donate and to leave things in your legacy. But yeah, there are ways to do this.
Going directly from your custodian, let's say at Charles Schwab, directly to the church or the place of choice. What's important is if you take the money out, you're taxed. And now you're cutting a check, which you can put on your tax return to write off, but it's not as big a write-off as it is as you give it directly, because it doesn't count as your income. Your income level could go up. This could save you a lot of money, a lot of tax, doing it the way I was just mentioning. This could really be a benefit. That's why I wrote the paper, give and get more back. And it's blessed to receive than to give. Well, I can promise you it's better to give this way and get more back.
As Scott, that's what it's all about, is learning from questions, learning from experiences, and then you're better able to support people moving forward. So we love people sending in those thoughts. That number, again, for Scott and his team, McLean Advisory Group here in Waretown, New Jersey, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. Scott, good job, my friend. Another great show, my man.
And, I appreciate it, man. Great. I'm so glad that people are listening for so many. How many years is this? 13, 14 years now. And, just touching people's lives is exciting to me.
Yep, absolutely. And we couldn't do it without all of the great listeners out there. So thank you so much. And until next time, this is Financial Insanity.
This radio program may contain information which has gone regulatory or other significant changes since its original recording. The information and views expressed on today's show is educational in nature and is not intended to be a recommendation for any specific investment, product, strategy, plan, tax, or legal advice. Information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies, LLC, are not associated entities.
This radio show is a paid placement.